As an employer, it's really understandable that you might have some concerns about employing a person with epilepsy. The most important thing to remember is that for most people with epilepsy, when they get onto the right treatment, they get seizure control, and so there's not likely to be any issues that you need to have any concern about whatsoever. Sometimes employers might worry that a person with epilepsy might need more time off because of sickness. There's no reason to suppose that a person with epilepsy would need any more time off than any other employee. People with epilepsy are likely to be classed as disabled under the equality laws. So when you're interviewing somebody with epilepsy, it's worth bearing in mind all the laws there are around recruitment. The main implications of the equality laws are around what you can and can't do in the process of recruitment. There are some things that you definitely can't ask about, and they are a person's disability, their health condition, their sickness record, or any occupational health reports. There are some exceptions to this. One of them might be if you do find out before an interview, for example during an application process, that somebody has epilepsy, then it will be fine to ask them if they need any reasonable adjustments in order to attend or take part in the interview. The other thing that you can ask about is related to whether a person can do the job. So the specific wording is that whether it's related to the intrinsic function of the role that you're looking to recruit to. An example would be if part of the role you're recruiting to involves heavy lifting. So it would be entirely appropriate to ask somebody if there was anything about their health condition that meant it would be difficult for them to do that, for example. On the helpline, we quite often get calls from people talking about problems they have around employment. One of the things they sometimes recount is that during the interview process, they can feel things are going really well. They choose to say that they have epilepsy because they're not obliged to do that, but some people do choose to say that, and then they feel the atmosphere in the room changes and they're not offered the job. So that can be incredibly disheartening for people and can feel very discriminatory. If somebody does tell you during interview that they have epilepsy, you might be tempted to ask further questions about that because you might well have concerns, which is really understandable. It's ever so important to remember that because of the equality laws, it's not possible to ask anything else about the epilepsy unless it is directly related to the intrinsic function of the role you're interviewing for. A health check can be part of a conditional job offer. If you were to learn during this process that a person had epilepsy, then you would need to probably first of all consider whether there were any risks involved in that and whether there are any reasonable adjustments that you could make, and you could have that conversation with your potential employee.